Hi there, it's Wendy here. I'm going to be recording a class for my Horse and Fitness Pilates people because I'm not around next week. So this first one is going to be sort of a little bit more gentle back heel focus, of spending some time kind of talking about engaging the muscles, the rib cage closure, and then just some abdominals and glutes. And then the other one that I will do will be a bit more sort of dynamic stretching and core. So we will start in standing today. We'll start with our little trigger point balls, tennis balls, spiky ball, whatever you would like to use. And we're just going to spend a bit of time rolling out the feet. So starting with one foot, starting at the base of the big toe, apply a bit of pressure onto the top of the ball. And then just a nice, slow, long line working down through the arch of the foot to the heel and coming back up again. So yeah, tennis ball is sufficient. This ball that I've got, this trigger point ball, is actually just like a rubber lacrosse ball. So anything along those lines is fine. We are going to use this again, one other section of the class, just to sort of really soften to the glute muscles. But we will come to that later. So slow, long lines, rolling the foot over the top of the ball. Just working into the soft tissue in the sole of the foot. Just making sure there's no tightness, no restrictions there. Because if there is, that can then affect the balance of the exercises that we do later on. So spending a bit of time there, don't rush it. It's more effective and releasing off any time is intention if you use nice slow movements. And working all the way across the sole of the foot, all the way to the lateral arch or that outer arch. If you have any areas that feel a little bit stiff or sore and that they might need a bit of extra attention, you can pause on them, just work into them a little bit more. Okay. And then let's leave the ball of the foot resting over the top of the ball. We'll bring the heel down just gently, resting down onto the mat. And then we're just going to work into the toe joint as well. So lifting and spreading the toes, just extending them up, pausing there for a moment, and then bringing them into flexion, curling them over the top of the ball. And again, lifting and spreading and curling over. And then one more time here, lifting and spreading and curling over. Okay, great. So let's do the same with the other side. So again, starting at the base of the big toe, bit of pressure onto the ball, and then working down through that inner arch, all the way down to the heel. Come back up again. Do a few in that region, and then down over the inner arch. And then we can shift the ball across and work into the middle region. So just working from below the second and third toe. Remembering to breathe as you do this. And again, any areas that feel like they might need a bit of extra attention, you can spend a bit more time working into those. So we're going to come all the way across to the outer arch or the lateral arch of the foot there. And then let's just stretch out the toes again. So bringing the heel down behind the ball. And let's lift and spread the toes, bringing them into extension, pausing there for a moment. And then flex them over the top of the ball, lifting and spreading. And flexing over, and then one more time here, lifting and spreading, hold it there, and then curling them over the top of the ball. Okay, brilliant. So let's just pop those balls off to the sides for just now, and we'll use it again later on. We're going to come into our Pilates stance. So let's bring the heels sort of a little bit closer in together. The toes can be apart. Okay, and just let's start with the feet and we'll work our way up and just think about our positioning and our alignment. So nice, even weight through the feet. Okay, the feet after rolling them out should feel nice and relaxed onto the mat. With the legs, I'd like you to think about those barber poles with the stripes that come up. And we're going to have just a slight turning out of the legs, almost like a slight sort of wrapping round of the thighs. So with that, you should just feel that the thigh muscles and the glute muscles start to waken up a little bit. Think about drawing the abdominal muscles back towards the spine. So not gripping as tight as you possibly can, but just think about, again, waking these muscles up, just gently drawing them in. Shoulders sort of back and down, and think about just growing tall through the crown of the head and bring your attention to your breath for a moment. So nice, slow, steady breathing in and out. And then with the out breath, I'd like you to imagine that you've got a big thick belt running all the way from the hips to the lower ribs here. And each time you breathe out, that belt tightens in a few notches. So all those muscles coming in and down towards the center. It releases off with the in-breath. And as you exhale again, all it tightens down, a few more notches, all of those muscles coming in and down towards the center. Releasing it off a little bit with the in-breath. And then again, the next time you exhale and breathe all of the air out, that belt just tightens down a fraction more. Okay, so keep with that. As each time you breathe out, just imagine all of those muscles coming in and down towards the center. And then along with that, so each time you exhale and engage the muscles, we're just going to gently press the balls with the feet into the mat, lift the heels up, and then come down on the in-breath. So as you exhale, coming up and down on the in-breath. Okay, so trying to keep that turning out of the legs. Keep a drawing in of the abdominal muscles, but each time you exhale and engage, just draw them in a fraction more. And as we come up, think about just lifting tall up towards the ceiling, through the top of the head. Okay, and then we're going to add in a little bit to this. So next time we bring the heels up, we're going to hold it here. We're going to bend the knees, making sure the knees sort of go over the toes. We're going to bring the heels down and then stand tall again. So the heels come up, bending the knees, heels down, and then standing tall. So just trying to keep your balance there, keep that drawing in of the muscles. That will help to keep you more stable. And as you bring the heels up, think about the balls of the feet resting heavy into the mat. Okay, so we'll do 2 more in this direction. Heels down and then stand tall. Ooh. And then we're going to reverse it. So let's bend the knees, bring the heels up, and then balls of the feet pressing down into the mat, and then bring the heels down. So bending the knees, heels come up, standing tall, heels down. So do a few more here. Just really working into the feet, the ankles, those muscles of the lower limbs. Getting the blood flowing there and mobilizing through the joints. And let's do 3 more here. And last 2. Good, last one here. So bending the knees, heels come up, standing tall, and then bringing the heels back down again. Okay, good. So we're going to stay in this position and then bring the palms to face the front, bring the arms back slightly so that we can feel the muscles at the back of the shoulder blades activate. And I'm just going to start to reach the arms up and down. Just come back slightly so you can see my arms. So reaching through the fingertips, make this a nice, dynamic, strong movement. Okay, the whole time keeping that reach on the arms and a nice, strong movement. And let's go for 6 and 5, for 4, 3, 2. Keep the hands up this time. Bring them down behind the head. Slide the shoulders up towards the ears and then slide them down. And let's bring the elbows back. Just again, making sure that we're activating those muscles at the back of the shoulders. Keep the elbows back, reach out to the side, and then hands back behind the head. So again, nice, strong arms. And let's go for 8 and 7, 6, 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to keep the hands behind the head, keep the elbows wide. Take a breath in as you come over to the side, reaching up and over. Elbow reaches up towards the ceiling. Exhale to come back. Next in breath, reach up and over to the other side. And again, exhale to come back. So think about lengthening up and over. Breathing out to come back. And lengthening up and over. We'll do 2 more to each side. So breathing in. And exhale. And again, breathing in to reach up and over. Exhale to come back. 1 more to each side, coming up and over. And then last one here. And exhale to come back. Good. Bring the hands back down and bring the feet into parallel. Okay, good. So we're going to come down onto the mat now. We're going to come down to lie in our semi-supine position. So Lying down on your back with your knees bent up, feet on the mat. And again, let's just take a moment to think about our positioning. So make sure that the feet are parallel. They want to be about hip distance. So if you have them together, bring the toes apart and then bring the heels in line with them. So the heels should be in line with the hips, okay, and the knees as well. And again, the weight on the feet should be nice and even. So just take a moment whilst you lie there and have a few breaths. Does it feel like the weight is more than one foot than the other? Try and make sure that that's nice and even. Feel the back of the pelvis relax into the mat. And the spine, the back of the shoulders. And make sure that the head and the neck are nice and relaxed. Okay, we're going to start to take it into a few pelvic tilts. So just a small movement to start off with. So to tilt the pelvis, you think about that tailbone at the bottom of the pelvis, just lifting up slightly. The lower back comes down towards the mat and then coming back to the start position. So a small movement to start off with. This is a really nice one to do if you've ever got a bit of a low back strain or if it's just feeling a bit stiff or a bit achy. Just doing this regularly throughout the day can really help just to mobilize and free up the area. And we're going to add in some breath to this. So as you exhale, we're going to think about drawing that belly button down towards the spine. As we tilt the pelvis and the lower back comes down, breathing in to come back the other way. And you can take it into a slight extension. Okay, so breathing it out to tilt back and in to come back the other way. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple more of these. And then we're going to start to curl all of the way up. So as you exhale, we're going to draw those abdominal muscles in. That tailbone comes up. And then the rest of the spine is going to peel up off the mat. So weight nice and even through the feet. You're going to roll up through the spine. Knees reaching away over the toes. Hips nice and high. Taking a breath in at the top. And as you exhale, first think about softening down through the ribs. And then think about the mid-back coming down, and then the low back and the back of the pelvis, taking a breath in, ready to go again. As you exhale, engage those muscles. That tailbone comes up, the rest of the spine peeling up off of the mat, knees reaching away over the toes. You should be feeling those glute and side muscles activated at the top, breathing in. And as you exhale, rolling back down. So soften down through the ribs. The mid-back comes down, the low back, and the back of the pelvis. We'll add in some arms this time. So as you exhale, engaging those muscles. As you roll up, curling all the way up. Okay, at the top, when you take your breath in, bring the arms up and over. You can either take them to the ceiling, you can take them overhead. Keep that reach on the arms as you breathe out and roll back down through the spine. And when you're all the way down with the in-breath, take the arms back down by your side. And again, as you exhale, engaging those muscles, the tailbone comes up. The rest of the spine peeling up off of the mat, knees reaching away over the toes. Breathing in to reach up and over. Get a nice reach there. Keep that reach. So just really open up through the joint spaces of the spine now. And as you exhale, we're going to roll back down. So just really mobilizing through the whole spine, opening up through those joint spaces. With the in-breath, take the arms back down by your side. Last one here. As you exhale, engaging those muscles, that tailbone comes up. Rest of the spine peeling up off of the mat. Nice breath in at the top as you reach up and over. Keep that reach on the arms as you exhale, rolling back down, soften through the ribs, the mid-back, the low back, the back of the pelvis, and then with the in-breath, take your arms back down by your side. Good, okay, so we're going to do a bit of abdominal work now. If you like to have something under your head, maybe sort of pop a little cushion or something under your head, just whatever feels good for you. So we're going to take the hands up above the shoulders with the palms facing each other. We're going to breathe in to take the arms wide. Then as you exhale, still engaging those muscles, you can bring the palms back up to the center. So breathing in to come wide. And as you exhale, coming back up towards the center. So as you breathe in to come wide, give a slight drawing in of the abdominal muscles, just release off slightly. Then as you exhale and come back, can you just draw them in that little bit more? Imagine that belt tightening. Just do a few more. As you exhale, drawing the muscles in a little bit more. Last one here, breathing in to come wide. And as you exhale, bring the palms back up to the center. Okay, so let's bring the, we're going to float the arms overhead. I'm going to talk a little bit about rib cage closure here. So if we were just, I'm going to put one hand on my lower ribs, okay, my lower ribs here. If I was to reach the arm over and just reach as far as I could without thinking about engaging the muscles, you can see that the rib cage will lift up and you sort of lose that connection with the abdominal muscles. So what we're looking to do here is we're looking to keep these lower ribs down, connected with the abdominal muscles, which means that we're protecting the low back area and that we can keep these muscles working. So we're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, engage those muscles like we've been doing. We're going to float the arm overhead just as far as you can keep those lower ribs down and connected, come back on the in-breath. So as you exhale, engaging those muscles, floating the arms, keeping those ribs down and connected with the abdominals, protecting the low back, coming back on the in-breath. We'll just do a few more of these. Floating back on the exhale, coming back with the in-breath. Last two. Breathing into your turn. And last one here. And breathing into return. Okay, let's take the hands down behind the head. So the back of the head resting into the hands. Get a little bit of length at the back of the neck, but make sure you've got a little bit of space between your chin and your collarbone, bringing the elbows up so you can see them in your peripheral vision. Now take a breath in. We're just going to start off with some simple chest splits. In fact, let's start off just with engaging the muscles. Okay, so take a breath in. As you exhale, engage the abdominal muscles like we've been doing. Think about those lower ribs just moving down towards the abdominals a little bit more. So feel all of those muscles activate. You'll feel like the head wants to lift, but keep it down for just now. Release off with the in-breath. But do that again. As you exhale, engaging the abdominal muscles. Think about those lower ribs moving down towards the pelvis and releasing it off with the in-breath. So this time we're going to take it into our curl up. So taking a breath in. As you exhale, engaging those muscles, those lower ribs moving down as the head and the shoulders come up and then coming back down on the in-breath. Back of the head resting into the hands. As you exhale and engage those muscles, curling up, elbows coming towards the thighs, coming back on the in-breath. It doesn't matter how far up you come, but just really focus on engaging those muscles, get that feeling of those lower ribs moving down, connecting with the abdominals, moving down towards the pelvis. Okay, so we're just going to go for 5 more of these and then we're going to add on to it for 4. Back of the head resting into the hand, trying to keep the neck as relaxed as possible. Let's go for 3 more. And 2. And last one here. So we're going to add on to it. We're going to add in some heel slides and we're just going to pause at the top. So as you exhale, we're going to lift one foot up slightly. We're going to press that heel away as we curl up. Keep the head up. Bring the foot back with the in-breath. Next out-breath. Can you just bring those elbows forward a little bit more and then curl back down. Okay, as you exhale, you're going to press the other heel away as you come up. Keep the head up. Bring the foot back with the in-breath. Next out-breath, can you just draw those muscles in a fraction more as you come up slightly more and then coming back down on the in-breath. And then press the other heel away. Keeping the head up as you bring the foot back. Next out-breath, can you bring those elbows forward a fraction more and then coming back down. And again, keeping the head here as the foot comes back. Next out-breath, can you come up a fraction more and then breathing in to return. Let's go for 4 more. Pressing the heel away, bringing the foot back, coming up a fraction more And then coming back down. One more to each side. Bringing the foot back on the in-breath. Next out-breath, kind of elbows come forward a fraction more. And then coming back down. Last one. Coming all the way down. Good. Bring the hands down by your side and let's hug the knees in for a moment. Okay, so bring the knees in close, one hand on each knee and do a bit of a rock side to side. Just massaging into that low back area. And then push the knees away a little bit. And then again, do a bit of a rock side to side. And this time just massaging into more sort of that sacral area, the back of the pelvis. We'll do one more of each. So bring the knees in, do a bit of a rock side to side. And then let's push them away slightly and just working into that back of the pelvis, that sacral region. Okay, good. So let's bring the feet back down. I'm going to leave the arms down by your sides for this next bit. And again, just take a moment to check the positioning. Are the feet parallel, about hip distance apart? So we're still going to focus on really engaging these muscles. We're going to do our leg floats. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. As you exhale and engage those muscles, we're going to draw one leg up to what we call our tabletop position, knee above the hip, and then with the in-breath, take it back down. Next out breath, as you engage the muscles, float the other leg up. Okay, good. So one side and then the other. Take your time. Use that engaging of those muscles to draw that leg up. Keep the leg really light, taking it back from the in-breath. Next out breath, float the other leg. Good. Let's go for 4 more of these. So for 4 and 3, for 2 and 1. And then we're just going to speed it up a little bit. So let's take one leg up. As that comes down, bring the other leg up. So we're going to switch halfway. So we're going to switch and switch. Switch and switch. And breathe. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And just bring the knees in again for a moment. Again, one hand on each knee. Let's do some big circles. So just circle the knees away from you. Try and keep the legs quite passive. Use the hands. Just circle the knees round, just getting into the hip joints there. Do a few in one direction. And then take a few in the other direction. Okay, good. And then you're going to keep the feet up. We're going to push the knees away. You're going to have the knees above the hips. Okay, and we're going to take it into our dead bug. So let's bring the hands up above the shoulders. We're going to be reaching opposite arm and leg on the out breath. So taking a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, we're going to reach opposite arm and leg. Coming back on the in-breath. Next out breath, reach the other arm and leg. Good. So nice, slow, controlled movements. Really think about lengthening that leg away, reaching the arm overhead, but keeping those lower ribs down and connected with the abdominals. So breathing it out to reach away, in to return. Okay, so let's go for 10 and 9, 8 and 7, 6 and 5, for 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Okay, let's keep the legs here. So we're going to bring our hands, rest them onto the front of the thighs. You've got the fingertips facing up. Okay, so at the moment we've got the hips, knees rather, above the hips. So I'd like you to keep the knees where they are. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, use that drawing in of the abdominal muscles to tilt the pelvis so that you feel that low back come onto the floor. So the legs should stay still. So just use that exhale, engage those abdominal muscles, and use that to tilt the pelvis
So that you feel now, feel that low back come onto the floor. You're going to keep that tilt of the pelvis. So you want to keep that feeling of that lumbar spine resting into the mat. Okay, bring the arms down by your side. We're going to take it into our leg fallout. So breathing in, you're going to take one leg out to the side. As you exhale and engage the muscles, take it back into the center. Next in breath, the other leg is out to the side. As you exhale, taking it back to the center. I'm just going to change my position slightly so that you can see how the legs are. So just making sure you've got that tilt, keeping those abdominal muscles working, breathing in, bring that leg out to the side, out, take it back to the center. Next in breath, the other leg comes out. So the angle of the knee stays the same, the movement is coming from the hip joint. Okay, we're going to go for 6 more of these. So for 6, and 5, for 4, and 3, last 2, and last one here. And let's hug the knees in again. Keep the right knee in towards the chest. Reach that left leg long, reach it long. Imagine somebody's got hold of your ankle, they're gently pulling it away, and then place it down. And have a few breaths there. And let's use that left hand to bring that right knee across the midline of the body, just as far as is comfortable. The head can come the opposite way. And again, just hold it here, have a few breaths. Okay, let's bring it back to the center. So let's swap over. Bringing the left knee in towards the chest. Reach that right leg long, reach it long. Imagine somebody stretching it, place it down. Hold it there for a moment and breathe into it. And then using that right hand, bring the left knee across the midline, just as far as feels comfortable. Bringing the head to the opposite direction. And again, let's hold it there, breathe into it. And then bring it back to the center, bring both knees in. And we're going to come to lie on our sides now. So when you lie on your side, you can have your head resting on your arm, you can have it resting on a cushion, whatever feels comfortable. If it's not comfortable to have the arm underneath, you can take it to the front and just rest your head on a cushion. Okay, so we're going to have knees bent, heels in line with the bottom. If in this position you feel like your sort of the low back is arching a little bit and that tailbone is just sticking out, just bring the pelvis, just tilt it slightly, just tuck that tailbone under slightly. We're going to keep the feet together. We're going to keep the hips flat. So this side of the pelvis stays as it is. And then we're just going to open up that top knee, pausing at the top and then coming down. So into the clam exercise. So just opening up, pausing at the top and coming back down. Good. And remembering to breathe. So it can help to breathe as you come up. Pausing there, coming down and leading breath. Good. So let's just go for 6 more like this. And 5. For 4. And 3. You want to feel that it's these hip muscles, these glute muscles, bringing the knee up. And last one here. Okay, hold it here for a moment. Let's do 8 small moves. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. So we're just going to lift this foot slightly. We're going to tap that toe behind, take it back on top, and then bring the knee down. So the knee comes up, tap the toe behind, take it back, and lower down. Good. So lifting, just extending back slightly, bringing the foot back and lowering down. And again, tapping behind. Okay, let's just go for 4 more. So bringing that knee up, keep that there as you just then tap behind and lower down. 3 more. Tapping behind, bringing the foot back and the knee comes down. Last 2, tap behind, remembering to breathe. And last one here, tap behind, bring the foot back and lower down. Good, excellent. So we're going to come up onto our forearm now and do a side bend. So let's keep the bottom knee bent. Let's reach the top leg away. Make sure that the heel is still in line with the hip. Here, we're going to have the fingers pointing forward. Make sure that the elbow is under the shoulder. And we want to make sure that we're kind of really lifting up out of that shoulder joint. So it's very common to just sort of sink into it slightly. So sort of gently press the elbow down, really stack the shoulder joint, lift up out of that shoulder joint and stretch across the front of the chest. So I'm going to take a breath in. As you exhale, compress through the foot, through the elbow, engage the muscles as we lift up. Okay, lower down with the in-breath. As you exhale, coming up and lowering down. So making sure you're keeping that shoulder joint stacked, keeping it open across the front of the chest, lifting, and then lowering down. So we can add on a bit of a stretch here. So let's lift up. You can hold it here. We're going to reach up and over. Take the hand back and then lower down. So lifting it up, reaching over, getting a nice stretch, taking the hand back, control it as you come down. Let's do 4 more of these. Control it down. Last 3. Okay, 2 more. If you can, rest before if you need to. And last one here. And control it down. Good. So let's come into our side sitting position. So just come up. So the side that you've been lying on, have this hand just gently resting down onto the mat. Take the other arm, take a breath in. And as you exhale, reach up and over. Breathing in to return. Next out breath, feed that hand underneath, get some rotation in there. And then come back. Again, reaching up and over. And then breathing in to come back to the start. Okay, so take this hand, the top hand, just hold on to the leg. We're going to stretch up the other way, so breathing in and then out to reach over. Okay, we're going to do that once more. So rest the hand down, breathing in and out. And in and out to rotate, reaching that hand through, breathing in and out to reach over. And in to return. Okay, again, reaching up and then reaching over the other way. And then coming out of that, and we'll do the same at the other side. So, starting off, lying down, make sure the head and neck nice and comfortable, knees bent, heels in line with the bottom. If you feel like your bottom's sticking out a little bit, just take that pelvis and just tuck it under slightly, okay? Keeping the feet together and keeping the hips stacked as you exhale, using the engaging of those muscles, those hip muscles, glute muscles to bring that knee up, coming back on the in-breath. As you exhale, coming up and back down on the in-breath. Good, okay, so let's go for 8. So for 8, and 7, pausing at the top, for 6, and 5, for 4, and 3, brilliant, 2. Okay, we're going to hold this last one here, hold it here, ready for 8 small movements, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Just bring this foot up slightly, tap the toe behind, take the foot back and lower the knee down. So opening, extending, take the foot back and lower down. Opening, extending slightly, take the foot back and lower down. And again. Okay, 4 more like this. So the knee comes up, tap that toe behind, bring the foot down and lower down. And then for 3, remembering to breathe. And then last 2. And last one here, opening, extending, take the foot back and lower down. Brilliant, good. So bring yourself onto your forearm. So bottom knee bent, top leg straight, okay? Elbow underneath the shoulder. I'm going to think about keeping that shoulder stacked, so lifting up out of that shoulder joint, stretching across the front of the chest, taking a breath in, as you exhale, engaging, and then lifting up, okay? Lower down for just now on the in-breath. As you exhale, engaging and lifting. And then lower down. So you can stick with this if you want to. You can just engage and lift and control it down, or you can add in the bend. So as you exhale, coming up, breathing in to reach up and over, breathing out to come back, and in to control it down. As you exhale, lifting, breathing in to reach up and over, out to come back, and then in to control it down. 4 more. Breathing in to reach up and over, out to come back, and in to control it down. Last, I've lost count, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 left. Okay, we'll do 2 more after this. So lifting and reaching, remembering to control it down, make sure you're still stacked out of that shoulder joint, lifting and reaching, coming back and controlling it down. Okay, bring yourself up into that side sitting position and just gently resting on the mat, taking a breath in, breathing out to reach up and over. Breathing in to come back up and then out to rotate round, feeding that hands through, reaching it through. Breathing in to come back, out to reach up and over. And then in to come back. Good. Okay, so we're going to take the hand onto the leg, taking a breath in, and then breathing out to reach over the other way. And come back. So we'll do all that again. So breathing in and out. And in, out, take it into that rotation, feeding that hand through. Breathing in to come back to the front and out to reach up and over. And then come back out of that. And then I'm going to reach up and over the other way. So taking a breath in and then out to reach over. Think about lifting and reaching. And coming out of that. Good, excellent. So let's use our little balls again. So tennis ball or trigger point ball. We'll come to lie on our backs and just do a little bit of work to release off those glute muscles and then come to do some work in bridge. So lying on your back, knees bent up, just lift up that right hip, pop your ball underneath the right glute muscle into the belly of the muscle. And just take a moment to see how it feels, okay? Sometimes you might have tender points, sometimes it might feel okay. So if it feels enough just to rest onto the ball and breathe into it, that's absolutely fine. Or if you would like to, you can just let that right knee come out to the side and then coming back again. So I come a bit more this way, that's it, so you can see, that's better. Okay, so nice and slowly here, breathing the whole time, okay? So bringing that knee out to the side and back in. And just see how it feels. And you can move to different points in the muscle zone. You're kind of in the belly of the muscle and you're avoiding any bony areas. That's all good. We're just looking to release off any tightness, tension in that glute muscle. And that we will work more efficiently when we come to work into our bridge position. So sometimes you will find tender points with this, and that's fine. That should soon ease off as you breathe into it. If you have any points that are really quite sore and they don't quickly ease off, then just avoid that area. It might mean that there's just a bit of inflammation there and it's maybe just best left alone for just now. Okay, if it's feeling okay, what you can do is as the knee comes out to the side, you can almost rock over, you can lift that left hip up and then come back and bring the knee back. So just do a few more on this side. Knee comes out, if it feels okay, you can rock over, it just increases the intensity and increases the pressure on the ball a little bit more. And remembering to breathe the whole time. Okay, but remember, if it feels enough just to rest on the ball and breathe, then that's absolutely fine. Right, for this last one, let's bring the knee out to the side. If you want to rock over, you can. Let's hold it here. And let's have a few breaths, have a few belly breaths. This is a nice time to do some belly breathing. Just easing onto the ball there. Last breath here. And then carefully come down, bring the knee up and remove the ball. And just take a moment to rest back down onto the mat, rock side to side, and just see how it feels. Do you notice any difference from one side to the other? You often find that the side that you've been working on almost feels like it's just sort of melting into the mat now. So you can feel how you've released off that muscle. Let's do the same at the other side. So let's lift the left hip up, pop the trigger point ball, the tennis ball, wherever you're using, onto the belly of the glute muscle, settle into it, see how it feels. And then you can start to, if it feels okay, bring that knee out to the side and then back up again. Okay, so as long as you're moving slowly, breathing the whole time, avoiding any bony areas and avoiding any areas that are really sore, then it's all good. You can move the ball around to different points, and if it's all feeling quite okay, you can rock over, lift the right hip up slightly, just intensifies it a bit more, and then come back. Good, so just do a few more here. You can move the ball around to different areas. If you've got any areas that did feel maybe a little bit tender, they might just need to be worked into a little bit more, you can go back to that area. So leave the knee out to the side. If you want to rock over and lift the other hip up, and let's just hold it there and do some belly breathing. Nice big breaths. And then last one here. Good, and then carefully come off of that, bring the knee up and remove the ball, pop it off to the side. So coming back to lie in our semi-supine position, so just take a moment, check your positioning, feet parallel, the heels in line with the knees and the hips. And we're going to be coming up to our bridge position, so sometimes it's best with this to have your head just on the mat and not resting on cushions. So let's bring our attention to our breathing. Breathing in and out. And as you breathe out, exhaling, getting all of the air out, start to get that drawing in of the abdominal muscles. And then the next time we're going to curl up. So as you exhale, engaging those muscles, the tailbone comes up, the rest of the spine peels up off of the mat, rolling up through the spine, knees reaching away. Take a breath in at the top, and then as you exhale, roll back down, soften down through the ribs, the mid back comes down, the low back and the back of the pelvis. Okay, so we're going to be coming up to a bridge position. If your feet are quite far away, take them a little bit closer in towards the bottom, because we're going to be holding it up in our bridge position. And then we're going to, and when you're up there, if you feel you need to adjust it, that's fine. So let's curl up again. We're going to hold it up in our bridge position this time. So taking a breath in. As you exhale, engaging the muscles and then rolling up through the spine, tailbone comes up, rest of the spine peels up off of the mat. So we've got knees reaching away over the toes, hips high as you feel these thigh muscles, these glute muscles activated, trying to keep the ribs nice and soft and avoid any sort of flailing out of the ribs. Okay, and let's just do a few glute bridges. As you breathe in, we'll lower down, just tap the mat, and as you exhale, engaging those muscles as you come back up again. So inhaling to lower down, exhale to push up, making sure that the weight is nice and even on the feet. And let's just go for 6 and 5, for 4 and 3, last 2, and let's hold this next one up here, hold it here. So at any point during the working bridge, if you start to feel the low back get achy, come down, hug the knees in, have a rest. Okay, so let's start off with a few simple things. You can always come back to these. Let's just raise one heel up and then the other. Okay, so you're just rolling up onto the ball of the foot and then bringing the heel down. Ideally, making sure that the hips are staying really still and stable, and it's just the legs moving. Okay, and we want to avoid any dropping down of the hips. So if that is feeling okay, and you can always come back to this at any point if you would like to. Let's see if we can do a little bit of marching. So take a little step forward, and then the other foot, and then step back. Okay, so just a little step forward, and then back. It doesn't look like much, but if you're making sure that these hips stay high and as still and stable as possible, you should really feel these muscles working. Remember to breathe. So a little step forward and a little step back. Okay, now if that's feeling okay and you're feeling quite steady and stable, what you can do is you can take the hands up, and you can do it with the hands reaching up towards the ceiling. Okay, but if you're starting to feel a bit wobbly or like the hips are dropping down, bring the arms back down by your side. If you're starting to feel that low back kick in a little bit, come down and hug the knees in. Okay, let's just do 2 more of these. And then last one here. Okay, take a breath in, take the arms down. As you exhale, roll back down through the spine, roll all of the way down, and hug the knees in and do a bit of a rock side to side. Good, excellent. Okay, so let's rock ourselves up to a sitting position, and let's come down to lie on our fronts now. So when you lie on the front, start off with the forehead resting on the hands. So first of all, in this position, you want to make sure that the pelvis is tilted slightly. So we're not going to have the pelvis in a neutral position. We want to be thinking about tilting the pelvis back slightly. So just with that sort of pubic bone at the front of the pelvis going to be resting quite heavy on the mat. Think about drawing the belly button back up towards the spine and engaging those glute muscles. So the glute muscles should be activated. And then come and rest your forehead onto your hands. I'm going to keep my head round so that I can speak to you. But with the forehead resting on the hands, make sure the shoulders are down and away from the ears. We're just going to start off with some glute squeezes. So taking a breath in. As you exhale, just squeeze the glutes tight as you can. Release off with the in-breath. Keep that tilt of the pelvis. Again, as you exhale, you can squeeze those glute muscles and release off. And again, as you exhale, squeeze those glute muscles and then release off. Okay, make sure you've still got that tilt of your pelvis, drawing the belly button back up towards the spine. We're just going to come into alternate leg raises. So taking a breath in, as you exhale, you're going to lift and lengthen one leg, take it back on the in-breath. Next out breath, lift and lengthen the other leg. Okay, so one side and then the other. It's a small lift, but lengthen away. Coming back on the in-breath, and then the other leg. So you want to make sure that it's these buttock muscles that are lifting the leg up, okay, and keeping that tilt of the pelvis so we're protecting the low back, and those low back muscles aren't kicking in. Okay, so breathing out. And let's go for 4 and 3, for 2, and 1. Right, we're going to try doing both legs. If you start to feel it in the low back, either go back to alternating, or what you can do is you can pop a cushion underneath the front of the hips that will help to keep the pelvis in that slightly tilted position. So try for both legs, taking a breath in. As you exhale, squeeze those glute muscles, lift the legs, pausing there, coming down on the in-breath. As you exhale, squeeze the glute muscles, lift the legs, lifting and lengthening, and coming down on the in-breath. Okay, we're just going to go for 6 and 5, for 4 and 3. Last 2, squeeze the glutes and lift. And last one, we're going to hold it here. So squeeze those glutes and lift the legs. Think about reaching the toes away, keeping the legs really long, Take it into your swimming legs as though you were swimming, front crawl, one leg comes up as the other one comes down, the whole time reaching those toes away and making sure that you're breathing. And I'm going to count down for 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down. Good. Okay, pop the hands under the shoulders, push yourself up and back, sit back on the heels, let the head relax down, and just have a few breaths here. Just rest out the back, breathing into it. Good. Okay, you're going to come back down onto your front. Okay, make sure you've still got that tilt of your pelvis. And then we're going to just come into a nice back extension. So let's have the arms quite wide. Okay, make sure that pubic bone is resting down into the mat, belly button drawing up, glute muscles engaged. So shoulders relaxed down. So we're going to keep the hands quite light to start off with. I'm going to take a breath in. And as you exhale, imagine you've got a marble by the tip of your nose and you're trying to push that marble away. So that head is just coming forward and up. Okay, keeping the neck long. You're going to come to a natural stop position. Take a breath in here. Now you can either just come here and hold it, or you can come up a little bit further. So as you exhale, press the hands into the floor. Think about coming forwards and up. Good, taking a breath in here, and then as you exhale, keep the hands pressing down into the mat to support you as you lower yourself. Think about lowering and lengthening back down onto the mat. Okay, take a breath in. As you exhale, keep the hands light. Think about that head coming forward and up. You'll come to that natural stop position. Take a breath in here, and then next out breath, you can start to press through the hands. Think about coming forward and up, keeping that length, breath in at the top, and as you exhale, keep the hands pressing down to support you as you lower yourself back down again. We'll do 2 more, taking a breath in, as you exhale, keeping the hands light, as you come forward and up. Breath in here, next out breath, press the hands through and just coming up as far as feels comfortable. We don't want to feel any pinching in the lower back. Breath in at the top, and as you exhale, lower back down again. Last one, taking a breath in. As you exhale, coming forward and up. Okay, breath in here. Next out breath, you can start to press through the hands as you bring yourself up a little bit more, keeping the neck long. Breath in at the top, and then as you exhale, keeping the hands pressing down on the mat to support you as you lower back down again. Brilliant, good. Okay, let's pop the hands back underneath the shoulders. Lift yourselves up and back, sit back on the heels. Let the head relax down and just have a few breaths there. And then lift the hips up a little bit. Walk the hands around to the left side. And then sit back onto the heels. Think about bringing that right hip towards that right heel. Focusing the stretch down through that right side. Breathe into it. And then bring the hips up again a little bit. I'm going to walk the hands back through the center, round to the right side, and then sit back into the heels. That left hip going towards the left heel. Feeling the stretch down the left side this time. Good. And then bringing the hands back towards the center and in towards you. And then we're going to come up to stand, and you can come up whichever way suits you, but if you're able to just come onto the toes, you're in that squatted position. And then let's think about bringing the heels down as the hips come up, keeping the knees soft. Let the head and the arms hang heavy, and then slowly roll up. Keeping the head and the arms hanging heavy. And then we'll just finish off with a couple of roll downs. So taking a breath in. As you exhale, think about drawing the abdominal muscles in, letting the head and the arms hang heavy as you roll forward, keeping the knees slightly soft. You're just going as far as suits you. Breath in at the bottom. And as you exhale, draw up in the abdominal muscles, soften the knees and roll
roll back up again. Shoulders and the neck and the head. And let's do one more. Breathing in. As you exhale, the head comes forward, the arms hang heavy, keeping the knees soft, rolling forward. Taking a breath in at the bottom. And as you exhale, just soften the knees, draw up in the abdominal muscles and slowly roll back up again. Nice and slowly. Shoulders and the neck and the head. And then just give the shoulders a bit of a circle to finish off with. And there you go, well done. So any questions, feel free to get in touch and ask. But hope you got on okay with that, and I will see you soon.